Alright, hello, welcome to my channel, The Truth About Adrenal Fatigue and Your Adrenal Fix. My name is Dr. Joel Rosen, and I'm really excited that you're here to look for more information about this hidden epidemic, because that's what it really is. If you're suffering with fatigue, burnout, sympathetic overwhelm, being caught or stuck in fight or flight, crashing in the middle of the day, not being focused, not being concentrated, having your circadian rhythm being disrupted so you're not tired at night and you're exhausted in the morning. All of these things are indicative of a stress response system that's not working optimally. My name is Dr. Joel Rosen, as I mentioned, and I myself have suffered with an adrenal fatigue problem that has been so frustrating for so many reasons. Number one, I never even knew about it. A little bit about my history. I'm from a traditional medical family. My family are traditional medical doctors, and I got an exercise physiology degree with my first undergraduate degree, became a personal trainer, and helped a lot of people get into excellent shape. However, I injured my back in the process, and I went to go see a chiropractor, and it was a flash of light. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to help people holistically get their health back. And then I realized, however, that I needed to get a second degree. So I got a second degree in psychology, and then I went on to become a chiropractor. And I was exhausted, I was burnt out, I had a lot of student debt, and my wife was pregnant with twins, and I was just tired. I was opening up my own practice. I re-injured my back, and I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate, I had no energy. I just crashed in the middle of the day. I got a lot of anxiety. I felt like I was stuck in sympathetic overdrive, and I was really scared. I went to the doctor, and much like you do, you go to the doctor and they tell you, hey, your blood tests are normal, there's nothing wrong with you, and you're more frustrated than you went in. On the good note is you don't have something that's imminent. You don't have any ominous markers. You're not told that you have a major health issue. But on the flip side, you have an exhaustion, fatigue, burnt out, stressed out problem that you're being told that's normal, and that doesn't work for you. It didn't work for me, so I had to investigate. And what I did and what I found was this thing called adrenal fatigue, and it described me to a T. Burnt out, not being able to focus, can't concentrate, stressed, and it then thus became the epiphany of my life's work. And what I did was I researched. So who's the godfather of the stress theory? It's Hans Selye. So I got every single publication that he put out. The Stress of Life, his Stress of Life memoirs, Stress Without the Stress. And really, Hans Selye was the pioneer of adrenal fatigue, and a lot of people don't realize this, but he was ridiculed by his peers because he was coming up with a generalized stress response that's indicative of all illness. And his colleagues laughed him out of the building because he said, hey, you have three phases of stress. You have that alarm phase where you have ongoing stressors that continue to heighten your sympathetic system, puts you on alarm. And then you have the resistance phase where you're able to keep up with the demands for so long. And then you have the exhaustion phase where you can no longer keep up. And while that was a great model for the time, it's not a good model in today's day and age. And what happened was a lot of his colleagues called him out on the fact, hey, the adrenals don't totally exhaust. It's not like they are on the beach and they are getting a suntan and they're saying, okay, we're not working any longer. It doesn't work that way. What happens is the adrenals still pump out a certain amount, but what happened of cortisol, but it's dysregulated. It's not working optimally. You have so many pathways and so many foundational things that go wrong when we encounter stressors on a daily basis, that it's not proper to necessarily call it adrenal fatigue because they're responding. Now, a lot of other people will call it, well, it's an HPA axis dysfunction. The brain signals to the pituitary, that signals to the adrenals, and that gets faulty. And while that is true, there's so much more than just an HPA axis. there's liver detoxification issues, there's microbiome issues, there's chemical exposures, there's pathogens, there's heavy metals. And now when we look at the cellular level, there's a mitochondrial dysfunction. At the fundamental level, the mitochondria is not working properly, and the mitochondria is in every cell. It's the power plant. So that's why you can have so many arrays of symptoms, from joint pains to gastrointestinal system problems, to not being able to focus and concentrate, to being bloated and having hormonal imbalances, and not having drive, and not being motivated, and not having the exercise capacity, and going out with your friends only to cancel at the last minute because you don't have the energy. These are all things that are associated with a broken stress response. And that's what this channel is all about. So back to me. So I got back into the studies. I went back to functional medicine university. I looked into nutrigenomics and my exercise physiology background with my undergrad, my psychology background with my undergrad, my chiropractic degree, and now my nutrigenomic training and functional medicine is what I do. I dedicate my entire life, my entire practice, my entire purpose to educating those that are suffering with this epidemic. And don't kid yourself, it's a hidden epidemic. When you go to your family doctor, or you go to your primary, or you go to your specialist, they're not going to accept adrenal fatigue as a legitimate diagnosis. And they're not going to accept the fact that it's real. And that doesn't mean you're not suffering. You're suffering with an exhaustion, fatigue, burnt out problem. And my goal is to change the healthcare paradigm to explain that this is a real phenomenon. It doesn't mean that the adrenals are exhausted. It means that the HPA axis is dysfunctional. It means that the adrenals aren't working and they're maladaptive. You'll have good days and bad days, but underlying the entire phenomena is the fact that you're just not producing energy at the level that you need to. You have a supply and demand problem. The demands of life, your work schedule, your family relations, your finances, your community, your physical stressors, your chemical stressors, the environment. It's way more stressful than it's ever been in your entire life, and your body has a supply and demand problem. You're not producing energy at the level that you need to, and it's impacting your ability to handle stress. It's impacting your hormones. It's impacting your gut health. And that's really interesting, because when Hans Selye did his experiments, he found that there was an erosion of the gut lining, there was an atrophy of the adrenals, and there is a problem with the immune system, and there's a neuroendocrinological response in all of this, and it just goes so much deeper than the adrenals. So what I do now is I produce a lot of content on how the adrenals work. What are the best tests that you can do? How is it related to blood sugar? How is it related to detox? How is it related to other endocrine systems like your thyroid and your hormones and your sex hormones? How is it related to brain fog? How is it related to performance and exercise? And one of the things that you're not going to find anywhere else is how is it related to methylation? Is there a genetic component? And that's what we teach on this channel is that there is a genetic component. That doesn't mean you have the adrenal gene, but you could have oxidative stress genes, or you could have neurotransmitter production like catecholamines and your adrenaline genes that are produced by your adrenal glands. You could have detox challenges. You can have inflammation challenges. You can have being able to repair and regenerate challenges. You can have the ability to make energy through your protein, carbs, and fats. And I teach a lot about that. I teach about becoming metabolically flexible and being able to burn glucose, or being able to burn proteins, or being able to burn fats, and how to become fat adaptive, and how to hack your body and be able to function at your highest level. So I'm really excited that you subscribe to this channel, or you're going to subscribe to this channel. My goal is to develop over 1 million followers on this channel, and my goal is ultimately to end your adrenal fatigue nightmare. Welcome to my channel, and I hope to end your adrenal fatigue nightmares.